Yes, I'm back for another edition of Beyond Reason Radio here at BeyondReasonRadio.com and Facebook Live and the Beyond Reason Radio app. You knew I couldn't stay away this time. You knew I would not be able to stay away this time with everything that there is to talk about today in response to the debate and the craziness out there. I might do a segment in a little bit called what names did people call Yaffee today? What names did people call Yaffee recently? You know, I do the and not only that, I do the segment things so beyond reason that will leave you flabbergasted. But I guess I should do one called what did they call Yaffee today? All the names I've been called just because of stuff I posted, on Facebook and stuff. So, and then I should do another segment. Called what gobbledygook did the candidates? What gobbledygook did people in the news say? Because pretty much that was everything in the debate last night. It was just gobbledygook. It was nothing. It was stupid. It was ridiculous. I'm like sick to my stomach that these are our candidates. And for more reasons than you would think, the first 45 minutes of the debate. By the way, this is Beyond Reason Radio. I am your host, Michael Yaffee, the voice of reason in a world that is beyond reason, in a campaign season that is beyond reason. And the gobbledygook I heard during this debate, about these candidates, it's crazy. But it's okay. The first 45 minutes of the debate were, Trump, are you a horrible person? No, I'm not a horrible person. Hillary is a terrible person, and her husband Bill is an even worse person. Hillary, would you like to respond to that? We all know Trump's a horrible person. We all know Trump's a douchebag. Trump, would you like to respond to that? Hillary is a terrible person and a liar and should be in jail. Hillary, would you like to respond to that? His words are causing more people to bully. That was the first 45 minutes and so of the debate. That was pretty much the debate last night. And I'm sitting here disgusted, sick to my stomach, because I'm like, what about the country? And, part of the problem was the moderators. There's no doubt the moderators, because they have to ask these questions. But there's so much this campaign season, this election. There's so much that I can't believe. I'm frustrated. I don't understand. Trump gets caught, and I'm going to play some of his lewd comments here. Don't worry, I bleeped out some of the bad stuff. It's not all of them. But Trump gets caught saying this stuff, which we all knew Trump said. We all knew this was Trump. He has been on the Howard Stern show for years saying stuff like this. We all knew it was going to be worse behind the scenes, and of course it was. But what's so amazing, what's flabbergasting, I guess, to me, is how many people now excuse it. It used to be the Republican Party was the party of morality. They at least said they wanted to be that. And then when Clinton did all his stuff, they blasted him for it. If Obama did the same thing, they would blast him for it. But now that Trump says it, well, that's what we all say. That's what we all say. No, I don't know about you. I don't say those things. I really don't. Behind the scenes or anywhere. It's all just locker room talk. You know what's sad about that? It's kind of true. That's where our culture is today. Our culture is at a point where that kind of stuff that Trump said is maybe a lot more common than I want to believe. And if it is that common, maybe we have more problems than I want to admit. That's where I am today. But to excuse it, and by the way, I've been accused of excusing it because I posted something on Facebook an article that had nothing to do with excusing it, and yet that's what everyone did, and then it turned into a Hillary versus Trump. Hillary's worse. Who cares? He's going to make America great again. And there we are. And I'm a conservative host, so I'm supposed to get on the microphone today, and I'm supposed to tell you, Trump was so awesome in that debate. Oh, he was amazing. Drop the mic. He's going to win now. And I'm just disgusted. Because what really matters is policy and their ideas for the country. And from what I see from both of them, no matter what happens, government's going to get bigger. No matter what happens, the debt is not going to go down. No matter what happens, government's going to expand. The entitlement's going to expand, and our culture is going to get worse. That's what I see. No matter who gets elected. So I'm supposed to be here praising Trump? Why? I understand he's a different kind of candidate, and he doesn't have the temperament. And maybe temperament doesn't matter in the big scheme of things. But what I don't understand is why we defend him when he's not a conservative. And when we defend him, when we're supposed to be the party and the Tea Party and the conservatives are supposed to be about character and morality. I thought that's what we were about. I thought that was a big deal to us. We can't complain about transgenders in bathrooms when we don't care when Trump says stuff like he said. It's completely hypocritical. That's where I am on this. But what's even worse about Trump's comments, I'm going to go through them, is not even the lewd nature of it. Everyone's saying, well, it's crude. Well, yeah, it's crude. I don't really care that much about the crude. I mean, I do. I wouldn't say stuff like that. Oh, but he respects women. Okay, fine. Whatever. And by the way, in the show, as we go along, I'm going to get to actual policy things or things that they said in the debate that are just gobbledygook. They're just stupid. Things that aren't talked about because it's not the juicy stuff, but that are that just, I'm like, are these people running for president? I don't know. But I first want to start with the comments that everybody on my side, frankly, is excusing now. That everybody on my side is excusing. This is the censored version. It's not all of it. But listen, I want you to, there's a point about this that really is worse than even the fact that it's crude. And I don't know. I just expect better from our leaders, I guess. Even if it is locker room talk, which frankly, I think it probably is amongst celebrities like him. But I don't know. Shouldn't we expect more from our leaders? Not to be like, I don't know. But he's not a politician, Mike. He's not a career politician. Okay, thanks. That's good. There's a lot of scumbags out there who are not career politicians. Here are his comments. Listen, I'm going to comment some things. Probably some comments on it that you haven't heard.
Beach, I moved on her, and I failed. I'll admit it.
Whoa.
I did try. She was married. Whoa.
Yes.
Whoa.
Yes, the Donald has scored.
Whoa.
Oh, my man.
I gotta use some Tic Tacs just in case I start kissing her. You know, I'm automatically attracted to beautiful. I just start kissing them. It's like a magnet. You just like, I don't even wait. And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything. Grab them by the. You can do anything.
Now, I will say this. He's obviously joking. It's, in terms of the locker room talk, I don't think he seriously does these things. I don't know. He talks about here how he tried to move on a married woman. He's married, by the way, when this is happening. And he talks about how he tried to buy her furniture. And I'm going to buy all kinds of furniture. And that's going to get you in bed with me. What I hear, though, that's worse than the crudeness of it is the arrogance. Because he's rich and he's a celebrity and I guess he's so cool and awesome that I can joke about, I can do stuff like this to women. And I'm like, you're such an arrogant douchebag. That's what I get out of this. You're a prick. I don't like people like this. I definitely don't like celebrities like this. By the way, if you want to comment on Facebook Live, you can. I'm getting some comments in already, which I'll get to in a moment. But I just read that. I'm like, you're such an arrogant prick. You think you're so special because you're a celebrity and you're rich and you're famous and you're so awesome that you can talk like this? Am I the only one who thinks this? And what drives me crazy is now we're excusing it. And what drives me crazy is the same people who excused it under Bill Clinton now have a problem with this. And this is where we are today. And by the way, because I've said stuff like this, maybe I should get into the things that I've been called, the names that I've been called for my comments recently on both sides, which makes no sense. Over the weekend, this is, let's see, on the text line on the morning show that I do on WFLA, Bud and I were called stormtroopers. We're stormtroopers because we've been a little critical of some things of Trump, especially me. I'm a stormtrooper. On Twitter over the weekend, I was called a traitor to America because of my comments. So that's good. Let's see. On Facebook, I posted about how this is a reflection of our terrible culture. And I was called a clown and a hypocrite and not a real Christian. That's what I was called on Facebook. So I was called, over the weekend, I was called a stormtrooper and a traitor to America because I was critical of Trump in the debate, which I'm going to get to more cuts in the debate. It's nonsense. Nonsense. Most of it was nonsense. And, but I posted an article, and I'm going to get to this later in the show as well. I posted an article on Facebook, and the title was, it was from PJ Media. The title was, America has no right to judge Donald Trump. And the whole point of that he was making in the article, I'm not going to read the whole thing, was that, for one, after we excused Bill Clinton for everything he did and elected him again, we have no right to judge Donald Trump then for comments. He didn't even do anything. They're just comments. But the other part was our culture is so hypocritical that we've accepted these things, but now because it's Trump, we're critical. And it wasn't really to excuse his comments. It wasn't excusing his comments. But as people didn't read it, by the way, but it all of a sudden turned into some people thought I was too critical of Trump and I shouldn't have posted it. Some people just pointed out that Hillary's worse, I guess. Some people thought I was excusing his comments. And I'm like, you missed the big picture of what this is saying. They took apart this little bit of the article and they took apart this little bit of the article and they're upset at this and they're upset. I'm like, stop it. Look at the big picture of what is going on. And the big picture is we have an arrogant prick in Donald Trump running for president who is not a conservative, will not limit the size of government, and most of what he says is nonsense. And then we have Hillary Clinton, who is corrupt, who is a liar, who is so staged every time she says something. I'm going to play her comments that are just nonsense. And she tries to play both sides all the time. She doesn't say anything. Neither of these people are actually saying anything. And this is where we are. So I'm going to get to that. Trump was asked about his comments on the debate. I'm going to play those comments and where he does with it. I have more on Hillary. Maybe I'll read some of the article that I was talking about that I posted on Facebook. But all I can say is just, we had a real chance. If, say, Rand Paul were up there against Hillary, there would be a real debate about the future of the country. You know, Hillary did say at the end of the debate, the reason why it's so fiery is because what's at stake. And people are upset. And there's a part of me that agrees with that. There's a lot at stake. But there's a part of me that nothing's going to change no matter who is elected. There's only maybe a couple of things that Trump could do that's better than Hillary. And that's the Supreme Court, and that's energy policy, and maybe taxes. I'm not sure I trust him on that. Oh, he's going to build the wall. Fine. And then we'll get into some of Hillary's. By the way, when all this is happening, Hillary's speeches, her Wall Street speeches were released. And of course, she had an excuse for that as well. This is Beyond Reason Radio. I'm going to get to your comments as well. I got some people commenting on Facebook Live. Make sure to share with your friends. Also, you can comment on the Beyond Reason Radio app. I do this show every Monday and Friday right here at 8 p.m. And I thank you for joining me. And I will be right back.
You know what's beyond reason? Yaffee is now on YouTube. Go to YouTube now and just search Beyond Reason Radio. Get Yaffee's take on the Beyond Reason issues every day. Follow him on Twitter at Beyond Reason R. That's Beyond Reason and the letter R.
So I'm getting a bunch of comments on Facebook right now. You can always watch me on Facebook Live when I do this show, and make sure to share with your friends as well, because this is Orlando's Smart Talk Radio, and I cannot do this show without you. And by the way, I hope you're all did okay during the hurricane. I know some people lost power. We were very, very blessed that hurricane, at least in Florida. Fortunately, in North Florida and North Carolina, it was pretty bad in some areas. But here, it could have been a lot worse. So we were very blessed by that. Getting some comments. I have one comment from Nathan who says, yes, it is locker room talk, but we expect more from, but we look to our presidents to be the best of us. No, those days are gone. Imagine if Obama was caught saying that. I agree. There's people that are excusing Trump would not excuse Obama. As much as I hate Obama's policies, he still is a respectable man. That was Nathan. Amy said, to my comments, you are 100% right. And Ronald said, don't worry, Mike. We know your heart and we love you. Well, I'm glad you do. I mean, some people really don't out there. They think I'm a hypocrite to Christianity. These are legit things I was called. A clown, a stormtrooper for evil, I guess, and a traitor to America for my comments. And at this point, it just makes me laugh. I mean, seriously, because it's just ridiculous. It's absolutely absurd. And by the way, I had another comment on Facebook by someone, and she said the rise of Donald Trump is the result of the religious right taking over the Tea Party movement. That's right. Donald Trump is a result of the religious right. What? It's so... How does Donald Trump in any way, sense, or form reflect the religious right in this country? He's the opposite of what the religious right used to stand for and evangelicals used to stand for. This is how absurd all of this talk has become. Well, this is because of Sarah Palin and the religious right and the Tea Party. Trump has done the opposite of everything of that. All I hear from people that like Trump is he's not a politician, not a career politician. He's not bot, and he's not PC. That's it. That's it. So we don't care what he actually says or does. It's once again about the idea of him. Over and over again, that's all I hear. He's not a career politician. Okay, thanks. Thanks for letting me know. What else? What else you got? They don't have anything else. There is nothing else. Let's see. Trump reacted. Let me get some cuts from the debate in here. At least get one of them. Trump reacted. Was asked about his lewd comments is what I call arrogant comments. So that's what they were. More than they were crude, they were arrogant because he thinks he's special because he's famous and rich. No humility at all. In fact, him apologizing is the first time I've ever heard of him apologize for anything. He had no choice. But he was asked about this. And listen to his full comments here. It's nonsense. It's complete nonsense. Everything he says here is absolute gobbledygook. There's going to be a lot of gobbledygook in this show, by the way. It's nonsense. He didn't say anything. There was very little of substance actually said at that debate yesterday. I know. See, while everyone else, I guess, is apparently talking about groping women in locker rooms, I guess I'm actually reading books and care about substance. I guess I'm not much of an athlete. I didn't spend enough time in locker rooms, and so I guess that's my problem. I need to get out of the library, although it's usually like Barnes & Noble. I don't go to the library that much. I need to get out of the bookstore and go to the locker room because I just don't understand America. So why would I care about substance? I don't know. But this is what Trump said in response to a question.
No, I didn't say that at all. I don't think you understood what was said. This was locker room talk. I'm not proud of it. I apologize to my family. I apologize to the American people. Certainly I'm not proud of it. But this is locker room talk. You know, when we have a...
By the way, how many times does he repeat, this is locker room talk? Okay, that's cool. He was in a bus, not a locker room, but same whatever. It's locker room talk. He's trying to excuse it, by the way. It's what he's doing. He apologizes and then tries to excuse it. He continues.
World where you have ISIS chopping off heads, where you have, and frankly, drowning people in steel cages, where you have wars and horrible, horrible sights all over, where you have so many bad things happening. This is like medieval times. We haven't seen anything like this, the carnage all over the world. And they look and they see. Can you imagine the people that are frankly doing so well against us with ISIS? And they look at our country and they see what's going on. Yes, I'm very embarrassed by it. I hate it. But it's locker room talk, and it's one of those things. I will not...
What does that mean? It's one of those things. Sorry, I have to do that like Trump's. Always sniffing. I don't know what that's about. But it's locker room talk. So he went to... That's why I say this is complete gobbledygook. It's nonsense. He goes from, I'm embarrassed by it, I apologize, but ISIS is terrible, and it's medieval times, and I'm sorry again, and ISIS is bad, and it's locker room talk, and it is just one of those things. Did he actually say anything real through any of that? I thought he was the man who was real. He continues.
The hell out of ISIS. We're going to defeat ISIS. ISIS happened a number of years ago in a vacuum that was left because of bad judgment. And I will tell you, I will take care of ISIS.
So, Mr.
And
Trump,
we should get on to much more important things and much bigger things.
Just for the record, though, are you saying that what you said on that bus 11 years ago, that you did not actually kiss women without consent or grope women without consent?
I have great respect for women. Nobody has more respect for women than I do.
Nobody has more respect for women than he does. You know, I just realized this kind of came by him trying to defend his comments and saying he has respect for women. He was even arrogant in that comment. How can he make a comment that's supposed to be respectful towards women arrogant? Somehow he just did it. That's what he did. Nobody. I am so respectful of women that I am the most respectful person of women ever in the history of women. Nobody respects them more than I do. Even that comment's arrogant. How do people not see this? Well, they do. They excuse it for... Well, I've explained that before. He continues.
So for the record, you're saying you never did that?
Things that, frankly, you hear these things are said. And I was embarrassed by it, but I have tremendous respect for women.
Have you ever done those
women
things?
have respect for me. And I will tell you, no, I have not. And I will tell you that I'm going to make our country safe. We're going to have borders in our country, which we don't have now. People are pouring into our country, and they're coming in from the Middle East and other places. We're going to make America safe again. We're going to make America great again, but we're going to make America safe again. And we're going to make America wealthy again, because if you don't do that, it sounds harsh to say, but we have to build up the wealth of our nation. Right now, other nations are taking our jobs and they're taking our wealth.
Thank you, Mr.
And
Trump.
that's what I want to talk about.
So I'm going to make America safe again. I'm going to make America wealthy again, because we have to be a wealthy nation, and wealth is great, and I'm going to do it. And could you imagine if my radio show was like this? I mean, honestly, can you imagine if my radio show was like this? How do people listen? How could they listen for an hour? Okay, so I'm going to try it here. I'm going to try to be a little Trump-like here. So I'm going to make this is Beyond Reason Radio. This is awesome radio. In fact, I'm the best radio host in the history of radio. And what this radio show is about making America great again. And I'm going to make America great again by having this great radio show. And we're going to talk about radio shows, because radio shows are just awful, and they're terrible, but I'm going to be good, and I'm going to make radio great again. And yes, and we're going to make radio wealthy again, because radio shows are nothing without wealth, and I'm going to make them wealthy again because I understand the system, and, I've used the system, and our other radio hosts are stupid, but I'm smart. I just went on for a minute and didn't say a word. I didn't really say anything. That's exactly what Trump does. Nonsense. Gobbledygook. It's beyond reason. By the way, I'm going to get into some Hillary comments in the next segment that are the same. Nonsense. Gobbledygook. Lies. Unbelievable. Because that is, where we are today.
If you like Beyond Reason Radio, well, make sure to show it by liking the Facebook page at facebook.com/Beyond Reason Radio. If you heart Beyond Reason Radio, listen to the Beyond Reason Radio podcast on iHeartRadio. Just download the iHeartRadio app and search Beyond Reason Radio.
So I just got another comment on Facebook about the camera. Yes, I know that the Facebook camera, everyone who does Facebook Live knows this. The camera on Facebook Live is backwards. That's how Facebook does it. I have no control over it. It's been an annoyance by a lot of people on Facebook. When you use a forward-facing camera on Facebook, it mirrors and makes it backwards. That's just how it does it. I have no control over it. It's a complaint to Facebook, and it didn't used to do it. I don't know why Facebook changed. They changed something where it does that now, because it didn't used to do it, and I tried looking up, and all I got was more people complaining about it, and there's no way to fix it. The Facebook says it's a setting on the phone. There is no setting on the phone. It is something they changed. So there you go. I get comments on that all the time. I don't know what to tell. Just enjoy the show. Just enjoy the show. I know it's a little beyond reason, but just enjoy the show. Okay. So I want to get into some of Hillary's comments here from the debate that were just nonsense. This is the nonsense debate. This was the gobbledygook debate where nothing was actually said. And with Hillary, it's more lies than anything else. So we'll get to some Hillary lies first. But let's go to some more nonsense from Hillary that she said. I mean, check out this comment. I couldn't believe this comment, to be honest with you, when I heard it. This is she was talking about the children. She loves talking about the children. And once again, here she's talking about the children and how we have to vote for her for the children. If we don't vote for her, the children. Here it is.
Children listen to what is being said, to go back to the very, very first question. And there's a lot of fear that, in fact, teachers and parents are calling it the Trump effect. Bullying is up. A lot of people are feeling uneasy. A lot of kids are expressing their concerns. So first and foremost, I will do everything I can to reach out to everybody,
Secretary
Democrats,
Clinton.
Republicans, independents, people across our country. If you don't vote for me, I still want to be your president.
Your 2
I want to
minutes
be
is
the
up.
best president I can be for every American.
Secretary Clinton.
Did she just blame bullying in America, in schools and kids, on Trump? Parents are worried about the Trump effect. Bullying is up because of Donald Trump. Nonsense. I'm telling you, it's gobbledygook. It's stupid. What? You're telling me that kids in schools or wherever are like, well, Trump's a bully, so I'm going to be a bully. For one, they're not paying attention to politics. Did any of you really pay attention to politics when you were a kid? Maybe in high school, but bullying is up. So now Trump is responsible for the rise of bullying. This is what this debate was all night. Stupid stuff like that. Meaningless crap. Trump defending his stuff by deflecting and saying nothing, like I played earlier. Hillary saying, well, this is who Trump really is, and Trump's the worst person in the world, and we can't have that. And he's responsible for bullying, and, I lied, but I was talking about Abraham Lincoln, and Trump saying, no, you're a worse person. I'm going to make America great again. And you know what? African Americans, I love African Americans. I'm going to say that. And Hispanics, I love Hispanics. I'm going to just say that. And not only do I respect women, but I respect women more than anyone who's ever respected women ever. No one respects women more than me. And I'm sitting here literally sick to my stomach because the future of the country is really at stake here. Because once Hillary gets elected, and she's probably going to get elected, we could have one step closer to a single-payer healthcare system. Taxes are going to go up. Energy, we're not going to solve the debt. Spending will go up. Oh, well, yeah, but we're going to tax the rich more to pay for it all. Shut up. It's nonsense. There's not enough money from the rich to pay for it all. We're $20 trillion in debt. Take it easy. The Trump effect is what I'm experiencing right now. I'm sorry. Another thing Hillary said, and this was a flat-out lie that I have to get to here. And I'll tell you why it's a lie. But this is probably one of the biggest reasons, if not the biggest reason, I'm probably going to vote for Trump. Although, like I said, him and his supporters make it more difficult for me to do that every single day. And I don't think it's going to matter. I still think Hillary's probably going to win. But she said something here dealing with energy and her take on energy. And the word of the day, nonsense. It was all nonsense. I've never heard anyone try to play to both sides like she just did. Like she does all the time. All the time. And this is what she does again. And it's complete and utter nonsense.
We are now, for the first time ever, energy independent. We are not dependent upon the Middle East, but the Middle East still controls a lot of the prices. So the price of oil has been way down, and that has had a damaging effect on a lot of the oil companies, right? We are, however, producing a lot of natural gas, which serves as a...
First of all, she's right. We're not energy independent. There's no such thing. There's no such thing as energy independence. We are a part of a world market, an international market, and we increase the supply of our oil and natural gas. So the supply goes up and the prices go down. And we have more of our own available energy resources for us. But not only that, but we can export it and sell it to others. But it's still a part of a world market. There's no such thing as energy independence. And both parties and candidates say that, and it's nonsense. But The other thing is why she's bragging about this now. Why are we quote unquote energy independent? Why have we increased the supply so much to bring the prices down? Fossil fuels, fracking, more drilling here, more drilling for natural gas and other fuels through fracking and other new technologies. And it's pretty much 90% being done on private lands. The Obama administration, and Hillary's agreed with it, pretty much has a moratorium on drilling anymore on federal lands, and especially for coal. They have a moratorium on drilling for coal on federal lands. Coal-fired plants are shutting down because of the Obama administration's policies. That's why Trump appeals to them, and then she's going to try to appeal to them here, but it's nonsense. Has nothing. She acts like it's the Obama administration and their leftist policies that have made this happen. It has happened in spite of what they've done. And they have done everything they can. The Democrat Party, the left, and people like Hillary Clinton and Obama have done everything they possibly can to stop that kind of energy exploration that has made us, quote unquote, energy independent. For years, conservatives like me have been talking about that we need to drill for more oil and drill more fossil fuels, increase the supply in the world market to bring prices down. Democrats and the left were against it every step of the way. So they did it on private lands, and exactly what we said happened. And now Hillary is bragging about it. It's nonsense. She continues on here.
Bridge to more renewable fuels, and I think that's an important transition. We've got to remain energy independent. It gives us much more power and freedom than to be worried about what goes on in the Middle East. We have enough worries over there without having to worry about that.
Why do we have more worries than we used to? You were Secretary of State forever. You made it worse. Ugh.
So I have a comprehensive energy policy, but it really does include fighting climate change because I think that is a serious problem.
Oh, dear Lord. Nonsense. A comprehensive energy policy? It's complete and utter nonsense.
And I support moving toward more clean, renewable energy as quickly as we can, because I think we can be the 21st century clean energy superpower. And
let me just say, I have nothing wrong with that. I find nothing wrong with we could be the 21st century clean energy superpower. That's fine, but it's not there. And the fact is, even these renewable energies, like I've said over and over again, have an effect on the environment as well. You know how much steel and concrete and copper and land it would take to build enough solar panels, wind turbines, and all that other stuff to make us completely off fossil fuels. Guess what? All that stuff I mentioned not only would cost way too much money, but it's made of fossil fuels. They're byproducts of it. And crystals and stuff that's dug out of the ground, just like fossil fuels. Solar panels are not made out of leaves. They're not made out of wood. It's nonsense. But what is she doing here? She's trying to play to both sides. Oh, well, I'm for increasing fossil fuels, but I'm also for renewable energy. So you're for nothing, basically. You're just saying what we want to hear, both sides. Look, I want coal miners vote for me, but green energy people vote for me too. But there's nothing in her plan that's going to stop the coal plants from shutting down, or it's going to increase energy exploration in this country. And we know it. One reason why I'm probably going to vote for Trump. She continues on.
Create millions of new jobs and businesses. But I also want to be sure that we don't leave people behind. That's why I'm the only candidate from the very beginning of this campaign who had a plan to help us revitalize coal country. Because those coal miners and their fathers and their grandfathers, They dug that coal out. A lot of them lost their lives. They were injured, but they turned the lights on and they powered our factories. I don't want to walk away from them. So we've got to do something for them.
She has a plan to revitalize coal country. Why does it have to be revitalized? Why does it have to be revitalized? Because of your policies and Obama's policies. That's why it has to be revitalized. It shouldn't have to be revitalized. But you've destroyed them. So the Democrats come in and they destroy coal country, and then they talk about how they're going to revitalize what they destroyed. What? Like I said, nonsense. Not only that, but how are they going to revitalize it? They're going to spend more money. That's how they're going to do it. They're going to pour cash into these areas. So that's good. That'll help get us out of debt. Not only that, but it's going to make those areas completely dependent on the federal government. It's not how an economy works. Economies, cities grow around industry. That's how it works. The government doesn't create that unless, it's military or other instances, I guess. But the government can't just dump in cash and say, we're going to revitalize this area. An industry has to. By the way, I'm getting a comment from Eva. Yes, I can see your comments. Glad you're agreeing with me. If you want to comment, you can comment on the Beyond Reason Radio app, which you can download at the Google Play or Apple App Store, or you can comment on Facebook Live as well, and I'll be right back.
It would be beyond reason not to listen to Yaffee on your TuneIn Radio app. Download the app today and search Beyond Reason Radio. It would be beyond reason not to listen to Yaffee on your TuneIn Radio app. Download the app today and search Beyond Reason Radio.
Welcome back to the show. This is Orlando Smart Talk Radio. This is the real place that we're going to make radio great again. There, I'll just steal Trump's line. Doesn't mean anything, but there you go. So I posted this article on Facebook over the weekend, and the reaction it got was just, beyond reason. It was almost unbelievable because everybody missed the point of the article. And they picked apart their own little things. They made it about defending Donald Trump or bashing Donald Trump or bashing Hillary or defending Hillary. And I was like, you all missed the point. That's not what this was about. In fact, one person commented and said, I am not a real Christian because I posted this article which excuses Donald Trump. It's not excusing Donald Trump. It's an article, it's a piece that exposes the hypocrisy of our culture and those who are bashing him now. That's the big picture. I got it from PJ Media and DC McAllister. America, you have no right to judge Donald Trump, is what it says. Oh, now most people just read the headline and commented. But she makes some really good points here that I thought were interesting. And it's not good in terms of our culture. It's bad. The fact is, why are we excusing what he said? I don't get it. But this is what she said. The wizards of smart in the political arena are telling us Donald Trump's campaign is over because of recently leaked tapes of private conversation from 2005 that was disparaging to women. The comments are so offensive, they say he's not fit for office. Talks about from the moment the tapes were made public, the drumbeat to Trump's personal walk of shame began. Politicians who formerly endorsed him fled in terror, not wanting to soiled stain of sexual stigma attached to them. Never Trumpers descended in their holier-than-thou glee as they declared how noble and right they've always been not to support such a despicable man. Now, I had certain people just take that little part of the article and hate the article because of that one sentence. And the left has been howling like puritanical wolves, condemning him for his immorality and sexist treatment of women. But this is the point that is real telling in this article that I really liked and really made a lot of sense to me. And it exposes the hypocrisy of our culture. I find this reaction to Trump's private conversation rather ironic. It's ironic coming from a secular culture that long ago declared objective morality dead. It's ironic coming from politicos and media bottom feeders who defended the abusive and disgusting behavior of Bill Clinton, not when he was a private citizen, but when he was a sitting president. Her whole point is how it's ironic and hypocritical that now we're bashing Donald Trump over these comments, when we have long ago given up on morality. It's ironic coming from a Republican political elite that has told its religious base that social and moral issues don't matter in politics. It's all about the economy, stupid. Leave your morals in the church, but don't voice them in the public square. The creep of moral relativism in America has been steady for many decades. And she says, for years, Christians in particular have been attacked in silence as they've tried to challenge the immorality that is pervasive in today's society. Now, I had other people take that part out of it. Oh, this is too Christian, so I can't like this article now because it talks about Christianity and how they're trying to fight immorality. Those Christians. It's just, you're missing the point. How ironic, then, that a culture which rejects moral standards has suddenly become so pure, pristine, sitting in judgment of someone they deem too immoral to become president because of something he said in private. As a logical person, I have to ask these paragons of newly found virtue where the standard by which they judge Trump is found. And it goes on. The fact of the matter is that Judeo-Christian ethics have been driven from our culture and declared a dinosaur from an ancient past. It has. It has. Just watch any sitcom. Unfortunately, I watch them and I laugh at them. But think about it. It's gone. You know, one of my favorite sitcoms is Friends. Great show. Funny show. Everybody loves what they do. One of the main characters on that sitcom, and by the way, Eva, I know you're saying it was a private conversation. I don't say stuff like that in private. It doesn't excuse it in my opinion. But, and that's not what I'm doing here. I'm not excusing his comments. You know, I believe God sees everything, and he especially cares about what you say in private. And I'm not excusing his comments. But what I'm saying is this is where our culture is. That all of a sudden they care about morality when they didn't care before. But one of my favorite sitcoms is Friends, right? One of the main characters on that show is Joey. What is Joey in that show? He's a womanizer. He's a player. He sleeps around. Crushes women's hearts, doesn't call them back, and we laugh and we think it's funny. We don't care about that, but when Trump says some lewd comments in private, we're all upset. I'm not saying this to excuse anything. I'm saying this is where our culture is today, and that is troubling. It is troubling, really, when Trump says comments like he did, and we hear, well, that's just what people say. As a Christian, I am saddened by that fact, that that's what people say. Because it shouldn't be what we say, no matter who you are. Not that anyone's perfect, but we should try to reach a better standard in our culture and, frankly, in our private lives as well. Just my opinion. But that was the main point of that article, was to show the hypocrisy, not to excuse anything or to defend anybody or do anything or to bash anyone, really, except those who are being hypocritical. I'm Michael Yaffee. This is Beyond Reason Radio. Check me out on Friday. I'll be on WFLA on Friday as well. Thank you all for joining me. Appreciate it. Catch you guys next time.
I couldn't sleep. I had to listen to a conscience knowing so well